break open your house one time, they rape your mother, they rape your father, they rape your brother, they rape your sister, they rape your auntie, they rape your auntie, they rob you of all your jewels, they take your car if you have a license firearm, they take your firearm, and they go on with that. And those that are supposed to vote for this bill, for the next year, you all are pleased and it's okay with that. What are they smoking? You cannot come and tell Saieed, well, hear this now. Saieed, mass mandatory, here we go. They come to an end. And then you come and tell me, here we go on side. If you go to the supermarket, the grocery, or the malls, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you go to a pharmacy, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you're traveling, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the transportation hub, you have to wear your mask. If you're going to church side, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the school side, you're wearing your mask. If you go to a barber salon, you go to the theater, you're wearing your mask. Which dum-dum in Trinidad and Tobago will go in a theater and buy a popcorn and a juice and sit down and wear a mask? Dance! If every councillor go through their constituency, do video clips like this and send it for us, I'm gonna be so happy just to play it on our program on a Wednesday night. You know why I would be happy? I will be filled with joy in my heart. You know why? Because the councillor is getting off their butts and they are actually going and doing some live video shoots. Real Talk took the initiative to find out suppliers of wheat in the world that National Flour Mill could go to. So now Romano is saying the company is not going to raise any price in the near future. Why? Why? Is it because the S-boss and they realize now that, hey, it is in the public domain that we could go right Mexico and buy flour and wheat? We could go right China and buy wheat? I am about change. And thus far, Real Talk is very effective in Trinidad and Tobago, coming towards making changes for the citizens. Public Utility Minister Marvin Gonzalez have urged the population to appreciate and be grateful for the availability of the utilities. This, as Gonzalez recalled, time in his life when he had to fetch water using a bucket from a nearby river. Gonzalez, I want you to understand something. I want you, Mr. Gonzalez, to understand something. You are being paid thousands of dollars by public utility, by the finance ministry, to govern WASA. Come on. To govern WASA, I want you to understand that you ain't going in no office for no free code. You are being paid. Do not tell me that I, Saieed, have to be grateful for the water I get it. Let me tell you something, Gonzalez. Every 4 months, I have to pay $400 and I get water once a bloody month. So don't come on a media briefing and say, Saieed, you have to be contented. You have to be happy. Marvin, the next best thing for you to do is to resign and get the hell out of here. and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. We want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. Remember, Real Talk has given you 4% on a fixed deposit. Once you signed up a contract for 5 years, it's $4,000 interest per year on $100,000. Now, viewers, you can go to your banker, you can go to your credit union. There is no way in Trinidad and Tobago that you're going to get this kind of interest in any other financial institution. Also remember, you can be a member of the Real Talk Credit Union Information. So viewers, open an account, set up a shares account with us, and watch your money grow. Remember, 4% only at Real Talk. Now, with times getting hard, you need extra cash. And where are you going to get it? You have your finance, just put down in the bank there, and it's not growing. It is not growing, it is not growing, it is not growing. So what are you going to do? Continue leaving it there? while you're digging deeper into your pocket. So my office number is on screen, viewers. Remember. Calling numbers. Call our numbers that you'll be seeing on screen shortly, viewers. Set up an appointment. Come down to our office at number 14 Carolina Savannah Road in Sugarnas, or 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village in San Francisco. About the 4% on fixed deposit. Remember, viewers, this is our number on screen. From 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. our offices are open. Call and ask for any one of the staff, and they will be willing to assist you with any questions you have. 4%, they can't go wrong. Electricity bill going up just now. Groceries will go up just now. And you're only getting a higher interest rate only at Real Talk. So this is where now, viewers, your extra cash will come in to assist you. Remember that. Remember, viewers, Real Talk Credit Union will be, Real Talk Group of Company will be expanding to Guyana shortly. We're going to set up our investment and financing company in Guyana. We're going to also have Real Talk Equipment Rental in Guyana. So, you want to set up a company in Guyana, it's not a problem. I know how to do it. So, viewers, remember, Real Talk is number one. Right here in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, there are many people who would want to use our name as Real Talk for this, or Real Talk for that, or Real Talk for the next. I want to let you understand, Real Talk is a registered company, and it is owned by me, Saieed Ali. You see the word Real Talk? It is registered. I am paying tax for it. So if I send you a letter for cease and desist, or as I'll carry it to court, brace yourself. Because you see, that name, I have worked 17, 16, 15 hours a day to make that name Real Talk a popular name in households in Trinidad and Tobago. Because the word Real Talk represents Real Talk Group of Company, Real Talk with Saieed Ali on Synergy Television, Real Talk Equipment Rental, Real Talk Real Estate, Real Talk Security and Intelligence, Real Talk Financing and Investment. Remember, I'm also a money lender, licensed money lender. So if you want to make cash, I know how to make cash turnover for you. Why else you think I'm in this business? I'm in finance. And I'm proud to say, this is where God have me. And He's blessing me 1,000-fold. So you want to learn how to make money? Not a problem. Contact me and we'll do business. So, while my business is growing, listen to this. Retired fire officers staged a protest outside the Rising Road fire station in Port of Spain over the removal of their meal and housing allowance. The protest, which took place on Tuesday, aimed to address the officers' grievance regarding the loss of their benefit. Fire Service Association President Leo Ramkisoon expressed unwavering support for the retiree or the retired workers. He said, protest action would continue until a satisfactory resolution was reached. Imagine this, Imagine this. You take away the meal and housing now. This was a benefit that fire officers used to get. And if you take that away, what you did? Which means you're cutting down. So if the finance minister could allocate billions of dollars, why are you cutting down? You tell me, finance minister. And you say this country is in a boom right now? We're in a booming mess. 2386716 is the number to call in, viewers. So feel free to call in. We want to hear what you have to say concerning issues that are facing you as a citizen. Now, the PM, let me tell you something. Right now, the PM upset. The PM vexed. The PM uneasy. Why am I saying this? Hours after the Prime Minister he called for the national security apparatus to do more to address gun violence. The Prime Minister, Dr. Saieed Ali, met with Commissioner of Police, Ola Christopher, and Acting Chief of Defense Staff, Captain Kiba Anaya, at the official residence of the Prime Minister in St. Anne's today. At the meeting were National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines, Energy and Energy Affairs Minister Stuart Young, Attorney General Regional Amo, and the Minister of Housing Camille Robinson-Regis. The meeting is the second such high-profile public meeting in 3 months, which featured reports from each of the divisional head of police to outline the initiative implemented in the region to address crime and criminality. What do you think is going to come off of this meeting? This is the third meeting, the third of its kind. Nothing came out with the first and the second. You expect something to come out from the third? Come now, man. The first one, you meet, you talk. You make provision. Second one, all right, here we're going on. We have X, Y, and Z in place. Let's execute it. On the third one now, you're supposed to report back now to say, well, hey, here we're going on. We got results from A, B, and C. We're going to implement D, E, and F. But we ain't get result no way. No way we are getting result. Call a good night.
This is the invitation vaccine.
My friend, go right ahead.
Listen to this. If you have the same people doing the same thing, you go get 600 murders. All of them who sitting down in front in the office in the Prime Minister residence. That is for promotion, a photo operation because he put it on Facebook. They have no idea what to do.
Correct.
And the Prime Minister balking on opening the crime talks to a wider stakeholder. But you know what I start to laugh about? I hear the President calling in 100 volunteers.
She calling in favors from the army who want to volunteer.
I want to know how she read a figure. The other thing she going to do, you know who she going to do and who does really have a hang on crime? You ever hear about the Hunters Rescue and Search Group?
Yeah.
That is the people they have to call in because
but
the police
that group and all have a bacchanal in it.
More than the police. And people have to understand, I started to laugh. The next set of strategy they go use, you know what they go use? They go call back retired police officers. They don't have a clue what to do. They're leaving out people who could add value. Gary Griffith, yes, he might be a Mautamasi, but he has strategy. You understand? And people have confidence in him.
Thank you, my friend.
I don't know why the Prime Minister...
Thank you, my friend. Now, shortly after 8 people were killed in a 24-hour period, Prime Minister Dr. Saieed Ali have stated that crime will not be tolerated while the President called out 100 soldiers to assist police during the pre-Christmas into Carnival period. In a Facebook post, the statement said, "The interactable situation now demands that the law-abiding citizen be given the right to their peace and safety above the freedom of the lawless and the violent few who operate with impurity. So Trinidad and Tobago, do you think it's right? We as law-abiding citizens, we try to abide by the law every single day go by. Every hour go by in the day, we try to be a good law-abiding citizen. But we have some pests in society, which our mothers and fathers say that they are very hard-working kids. And when they get gunned down, my son was never in that. He's at the wrong place at the wrong time. When you check, he have an AK, he have an AR, he have a 9s, he have a revolver. You hear police wanted. He wanted by police for murder, for rape, for attempted kidnapping or kidnapping. How do we deal with it? You know, if I go to say what Kamala said, gun them down, you know they go say Saieed inciting violence. You would say Saieed is inciting violence. So we got a video with some people breaking in houses. The last video we run on the, you know what you're now? If I say jump my property and I will shoot your stone dead, what you doing inside my property wee hours in the morning? Huh? What you doing in my property wee hours in the morning when I didn't even give you consent to jump my fence? All I want to see what I talk about and I say gun them down. Look at these things. Look at that. Show them the next one. Look at this one you're about to see now. Look at that. What would you do people like this entering your property? What would you do somebody like that entering your property? You know nobody ever say nothing because everybody find that's all well and good. Fast forward it. Watch what they're coming out with, watch. Look what they're coming out with. Look at them. And all they want to tell me now, all they want to tell me now that it is okay to not to use the term gun them down. All they want to tell me that it's not okay to use that term. Now I understand I'm on television. I understand I have to know what to say. But jump my fence, let me tell you something. It ain't no police, no judge, no lawyer in Trinidad and Tobago gonna save you when you jump my fence. I don't know about other people, you know. Because no policeman can come and tell me, Saieed, you shouldn't shoot the man, you know. I will ask you, if that man jumped your fence, what you would I do? Remember, there's a police officer in South who had a village meeting. He said, protect your property at all costs. The man never said to go and buy a gun and kill them, you know. I telling you, on national television, you jump my fence, I will gun you down. And I want to see which lawyer come to say, Saieed, you're wrong. I want to see which police come to say, Saieed, you're wrong. I want to see which magistrate come to say, Saieed, you're wrong. Because I will ask all of you, did you all give that man permission to jump my fence 2 o'clock in the morning? No, Saieed. Well, then don't tell me how to deal with my situation. Because I have wife and children. And I am a businessman. So what you had to do now is when them jump your fence, you get up and bring cheesecake and some chocolate milk and give them. You do that. Not wrong me. Not wrong me. Now, like I said, I have a new method now. You jump my 3-4, jump my fence, 1 slug each. You can't go over the fence. I will go in my pit bull and I go in my Rottweilers and I close in my front door and I go back on the bed. Wherever God you pray to, when them dogs come at you, say, Lord, I'm coming home because I jumped side fence. That's all you have to say. I'm doing it different now. I'm doing it different now. The police want to say, well, oh, you know, you're a firearm holder, you have to be careful. You know, you could be charged. All right, no problem. You have your way in dealing things. I have my way in dealing things. 1 slug each, and I'll let go my dogs. Say something. Let me see if you can charge me for a vicious dog in my compound with my wall properly well fenced. Let me see how stupid all here is. You see, I'm going to tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. We have laws from 1880. We have laws from 1880 or 1570 still existing today. But when a man comes to your property, he have more say than you, the homeowner. Me? It had nothing like 1440 law, you know. It had 2023 law. You jump side fence, I deal with you according to what you do in my property. Because when I work in 17 hours a day, I'm not seeing you. You coming to take what I'm making. So what we going to deal with it accordingly. Call a good night.
Good night, Mr. Saieed. Great program as usual.
Thank you, my friend.
You know, Mahatma Gandhi once said, politics without morality is a sin against humanity. He said state officials and high office holders must use their office and position for the good of mankind to alleviate the pain and suffering. In this country, we see the total opposite. The international community is telling us that state officials in this country are supporting and funding crime. You expect Rowley and them, today they have a meeting. Mama Gandhi sitting and say, oh God, we overlove you all. We care for you all.
Yes.
Nothing will happen because state officials are funding and supporting crime in this country. Crime is the most lucrative business in this country to date. Nobody want to fix it. They don't want to fix it, so they feel they go Mama Gabi. Over $2 billion spent on legal fees to their attorney friends and family and so on. You think they want to stop that? If they want good advice, go to Guyana. Guyana had gangs, and Guyana solved the problem today.
Hey,
crime from gang members in Guyana is zero. Go to Guyana. So a law student could tell them change the laws, make crime unattractive, but that's what they're not doing. How you fix crime? Mr. Said, you keep up the great work you're doing. God bless you and your staff.
Thank you, my friend. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but before we go for that break, you have two people and two people who love to be highlighted on Real Talk. We just want to highlight them tonight. Narissa Mohammed of Paje. Narissa, you see how Raquel time reach? Yours coming. And believe me, when yours come, it will be repeating itself. Navin, you know what it is to get everything from your parlor taken every time you stock up your parlor. It's hard, you know. You know what it is for Saieed to come and seize the bed. You want your chair and lying down on and fall on the floor? Never say you're playing a stink game, but let me tell you something. You have no idea what stinkness is really. I say telling you that on national television. There's a $10,000 reward for this car, PDZ 8917. Anybody find that car, bring it for me. You want to find the car? Narissa live in Paje. They have a red parlor. You find Narissa, she will tell you what the car is. You bring the car for me, you collect 10,000. It's that simple. And we have our next partner here. We know Dipchan. Vinud come and see me one time, and after that he come back again. But nevertheless, you see, I go tell you something, eh? When you hear side light, anything could happen, you know. Anything could happen, you know. When side light, anything could happen to you, you know. You could be walking in the road and fall on and a car bouncing, you know. Telling you, as real mishaps could take place. Real mishaps. But yeah, a person like coach just now in an happen. I going in, I clean out your parlor, I clean out your household, and I come back in my office. And as soon as I hear you stock it, would your neighbor go tell me? I come in again. Only thing as a person joke, as a person that all we want to know about. So we're going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, it's Tune It Up tonight. I just want to touch back on the $55 million that was spent on the DPP office, according to his request. And all of a sudden, September going, they find it fit to cancel the contract. We're going to hear more from this after this break.
Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com, and we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday. Real Talk Credit Union information stores are now open to members of the public. We are located at the Realtor Group of Companies building at number 14 Grony, Savannah Main Road. Opening hours are from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us via telephone at 238-6716 or 231-6219 to book your appointment. You can also stay connected with us via Facebook.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtor Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtor Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com, and we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday. Realtor Credit Union information stores are now open to members of the public. We are located at the Realtor Group of Companies building at number 14 Grony, Savannah Main Road. Opening hours are from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us via telephone at 238-6716 or 231-6219 to book your appointment. You can also stay connected with us via Facebook.
Welcome back to Real Talk, viewers. Remember, viewers, we at Real Talk are giving you 4% on fixed deposits. Remember that. We are also encouraging you to be members of Real Talk Credit Union Information. We are also encouraging you that if you want money borrow, contact me. You want to make investments? As a licensed money lender, you know. So anybody want to make investments with Saieed is all welcome, you know, because I'm licensed to do that. I just want to let you understand that I am licensed to do this. So viewers, remember I told you all we're going to try to get the President of the Supermarket Association of Trinidad and Tobago online on a telephone interview to find out what type of impact are we going to have with the increasing of the electricity bill. So Mr. Rajiv, good night to you, sir.
Good night, Saeed. Good night to all your viewers. Good night, Trinidad and Tobago.
I know it's a more or less all of a sudden kind of thing, but I do apologize for it, my friend.
No problem.
Now, with TNTech, Mr. Rajiv, with TNTech setting its pace to increase electricity on commercial business, what type of impact are we looking at when up to 68% would be increased on electricity rate concerning supermarket and other business on the commercial sector in Trinidad and Tobago? What kind of impact are we looking at concerning grocery items?
Well, Saeed, let me begin by saying that when the RIC conducted its consultations last year, we were part of that. And we looked at the assessment that their analysis offered with residential, commercial, and industrial rates. We have some customers within the supermarket sector that are industrial customers. We have some customers that are commercial customers. But what we do know is that as of the 1st of January, the residential, we will see something happening where consumers have to look at the consumers are going to be hit in two ways side. They're going to be directly impacted at the level of the household where the residential rate hike is going to be experienced. So they have to deal with that, the impact there. That's going to affect their disposable income on one level. Then there's going to be the impact that's going to be felt by industrial customers. You have large manufacturers with plant equipment and machinery that are going to be impacted because the industrial impact is going to be more significant, particularly for those customers. We also are going to see, so the supermarkets are going to be impacted directly by the suppliers, the manufacturers, and the distributors, particularly where you have cold chain transport happening, because at a lot of these distribution warehouses, the maintenance of cold chain means refrigerated, walk-in freezers, refrigerated, cold chain equipment, and you also have the cold chain transport. At the supermarkets, you have a lot of those. You've got the coffin chillers, the walk-in freezers, the ice cream freezers, the chilled meat freezers, and on top of all of that side, we're operating in an environment right now where we have higher temperatures, where customers are feeling the heat, literally. So the air conditioning has to be maintained at a certain level. So you are going to be experiencing an environment where, in terms of kVA consumption, particularly where you're moving from a bi-monthly billing cycle to a monthly billing cycle, it's going to be something that not many operators are going to be able to absorb. It's definitely going to be felt, as I said at the start, indirectly to the supermarkets and directly at the level of households. So it's going to be something that's going to create inflationary pressures.
Now, Rajiv, with the percentage of almost 68% being applied, don't you think, being in business for a number of years, don't you think that electricity, that percentage rate is ridiculous?
So to answer your question, I'll tell you what we told the RIC when we had our consultation. Is
yes,
that our recommendation was that first of all, we recognize that TNTech has had no rate hike in the last 17 years. We recognize that they are struggling for efficiency and survival right now. We understand that. Our recommendation was that you cannot drop it on the population in one fell swoop, that it should have been done on a phased basis over a 5 to 10 year period, or something that could have been pondered in that structural format. But you have a population that is still recovering from COVID, that has not fully recovered economically. You have had a lot of inflationary price pressures externally, and while the place has picked up, proverbially speaking, people have not really gotten a chance to catch up on things. When you really look at it, we felt strongly that a phased basis was the best approach side.
Now, coming from the population, not the business sector, like a normal worker. Now, there are the increase of up to 51% on the housing industry, residential housing. What is your take on that? Now, before you answer that, now let's just say I have a residential house, right? Now, my bill, I pay every 2 months $600, just saying, right? Now, with a 51% increase on it, on $600, that is almost totaling $900 every 2 months. What is your take on that now? Seeing that people have lost jobs, some are still recovering from COVID, some businesses have been shut down in Trinidad, banks are on the heels of repossession. I mean, what is your take on that now, being an individual, not a business conglomerate, but as an individual in Trinidad?
To be quite honest, Saeed, I think and that's for everything that you've just described, there is a reason why I felt very strongly that a phased increase would have been a better way, instead of doing this in one go, because you're going to, as you described, a bi-monthly billing cycle that was that's probably going to reach a monthly billing cycle now of $400 to $500 a month.
Yes.
And it's going to be onerous on the household, which, while they've gotten a measure of relief with the increase in the minimum wage, it's almost like that's been eroded back into. And that's something that really we felt that the minimum wage increase was necessary when you want to ensure the comfort of food security within the household. It's just going to create more pressures right now that frankly are just not really needed at this time. When you add the crime situation on top of that,
yes,
it's really there are a lot of things that we feel the focus should really be at odds with where it's gone.
Mr. Rajib, I do want to thank you for taking the time out to answer our calls and to be with us live here on Real Talk. We do appreciate that so much. Thank you again, my friend.
Thank you again, my friend, and good night to your viewers. Good night, Trinidad and Tobago.
So, Trinidad and Tobago, you all heard it? Let's just hope that some miracle take place from now until they're ready to implement that between me and you, I really hope that don't come on stream, you know. Because take what I'm telling you, a lot of people are going to feel the pinch. A lot of people are going to feel the pinch, especially the groceries, where a 68% is going to be handed down to them. Let me tell you something, this has a rippling effect, you know, but we'll continue with this topic on another night. So, I'm going to just touch on this that I left off at the end of our program a previous night. $55 million was spent to refurbish the office that the DPP is supposed to go in. Now, the AG said the office of the DPP should be accommodated at those premises and added that at the end of September 2023, the government terminated the lease after spending a total of $55 million. Listen to this.
The government has terminated the lease of the North Park Street building, which the DPP had agreed in 2014 to move to. After due consideration, I'm of the view that the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions could and should be accommodated at those premises. Accordingly, I urge you to kindly take steps to actualize my interest. That was September 22nd, 2014. At the end of September 2023, the government terminated that lease after having spent a total in rent, electricity bills, and renovations to introduce bulletproofing along the entire northeastern wall of the property at the request of the DPP after an expenditure of $55,551,443.93.
Trinidad and Tobago, over $55 million of taxpaying citizen money have spent carelessly. Listen to the second video.
The lease on that building has been terminated because the DPP has refused to move into the building.
AG, can you indicate when the lease has been terminated, whether we had any additional monies to pay based on the termination of the lease?
I don't understand the question. Can you repeat, please?
Okay, let me ask you. Was the lease terminated prematurely?
No, in fact, the term of the lease had expired and it was running on a month-to-month basis, sure. And it was terminated and we moved out at the end of September.
Are there any plans for a new building?
Consideration is being given to temporary accommodation for some of the DPP staff who are going to be allocated by the GLSC. The DPP will remain at Winshaw Building and additional staff hopefully will be relocated, and a consideration is being given to a site on which a proper building will be built out for a number of legal staff, and hopefully the DPP, if that is actualized, will agree to move there.
So the DPP caused $55 million to be spent with full bulletproof and then refused to go into it. Listen to this third video.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I first of all am not prepared to answer the question on the premise of scandalous. But I will say that it is the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago that assumed the responsibility at the invitation of the DPP in 2014 when he agreed to move into the building to renovate it at the cost which I have explained.
So Trinidad and Tobago, seeing that the DPP was okay to move, 2014, all well and good, $55 million spent from 2014 to 2023. Now, the AG is saying they were renting the building on a month-to-month basis while $55 million were being spent. Now, the DPP refused to go in the building. Who should pay back? Who now in Trinidad and Tobago should pay back that $55 million that were wasted on a building? All I want to hear something? All I want to hear some cock and bull story now? All right, good. The Minister of Public Administration, Alison West, have stated that there was no corruption in the $55 million rental deal involving the Park Street property that was rented for the Director of Public Prosecution, but remained unoccupied for the entire duration of the lease. Which friend or which family willfully gained $55 million of tax-paying citizen money? Listen to what Alison have to say.
That portion of the building that was being rented for the office of the DPP is in fact 43,295 square feet as against the 23,000 square feet that Mr. Raymond quoted. The rent that was being paid was $500,000 a month rather than the $600,000 a month quoted by Mr. Raymond, giving rise to a square footage price of $11.55 as opposed to the $26 per square foot quoted by Mr. Raymond. So every one of his facts on which he based his conclusion that there was corruption in this process is incorrect. Each fact is incorrect.
Trinidad and Tobago, is the owner of this building a P&M financier? Listen to this.
So to accuse the Ministry of Public Admin of wasting state assets by throwing away funds that belong to the state through the rental of property at ridiculously high rents is something that we cannot accept because we know that our efforts have been headed in the other direction. Another allegation that has been thrown at us in respect of that building is that the reason we are willing to pay higher than market, it is alleged, for the property in question is because the owners of the property are P&M party financiers. The owner of the building is a company called Parkout Limited, and the directors of that company are Joseph Azar, Andrew Lakis, and Jeff LeBlanc, none of whom are party financiers. So none of that is anything close to the truth.
So they rented a building. The building was entirely empty. No one occupied that building. Let's say from 2014 to 2023. But our smart and educated government that runs Trinidad and Tobago, they were paying the lease for the building while nobody occupied the building. Nobody occupied the building. $55 million spent on a building that nobody occupied. Let me tell you something. I am still wondering why the opposition haven't called in the FBI to investigate state funds which are being wasted. Side bashing, $55 million could have gone to the corporation in Trinidad and Tobago to buy material to patch roads. What Saieed know? Saieed know nothing. Saieed know nothing about money. As a money lender by guess. As a money lender by guess. I opened an investment company in different countries. Me I know nothing about money. I knows nothing about money yet. A little clown. $55 million of your money that you'll pay tax with just went up in smoke, and you'll have not one bloody thing to complain about. Not one. Call a good night.
Saieed. Hello?
Go right ahead, you're live.
Yeah, I call it from Tunapuna.
Welcome to Tunapuna.
Saieed, let me tell you something. This is a scandal.
Correct.
And let me tell you something. All what Alison Weston is talking about, the owner of that building is a member of the 1%. They are financiers of the PNM. And let me tell you something. You see that Attorney General, that fellow that's watching with a bold face and lies.
They should hold them accountable. They should hold them accountable for $55 million being wasted.
And Saieed, what make it more funny is that why didn't you terminate the contract? Why Tolle was paying this money? You know what they do? They wait till the contract expired.
Correct.
And then you told me, and then you say, well, a month-to-month basis. Why you didn't terminate it when you know you were just wasting money?
Exactly.
Right? And not only that, too, Saieed, I was reading an article on that on the papers yesterday. Do you know that there were other occupants of that building, other renters?
Well,
it
look
is
at
not
that.
just a building that is for the DPP. It is an apartment in that building. So therefore,
The floor they rented out.
if you have to deal with crime situation and high-power thing and whatnot, you want an institution separate from all entities. There must be no attached businesses or any other thing renters in that building. But you see, they didn't want to stop the contract because they had to pay it. And remember this.
Correct.
The financiers of the PNM is who helped to contributing to the completion of Alize House. But sorry, let me just draw your attention to something I saw on the television just now there, on the news. The Tobago fishermen and them is complaining that they didn't get ice so that they couldn't go out and catch a fish and whatnot for the cold storage because it would have spoiled. But you know what they said? That the ice went to the fest, the carnival fest.
Okay.
You understand? But and also in addition to that side, I'm watching the news tonight where the firemen and them is protesting for their payments, the retirees and whatnot.
Yes.
And one of the spokespersons said it's total to 14.5 million or something like that. Retirees person who work and they get their money. But you could pay $55 million to an individual for rental, which the building, for part of the building was not occupied. You want to tell me this is corruption? Saieed, let me tell you something. Something has to be investigated, and not by government, by a neutral institution.
Thank you.
Not the police or any one of them. You cannot trust them.
Thank you, my friend.
And
We have an next one? So Trinidad and Tobago, $55 million spent, and nobody's to be held accountable. Wastage of $55 million. The DPP said in 2014, yes, I'm going to move. 2023, you say no after $55 million spent. Who is to be held accountable? Or let's say something now, man. Or let's bump all your gum now and say Saieed bashing. Bump all your gum. I'm bringing reality to you. When you complain about the schools and the road and one set of thing, money wasting. Nobody's being held accountable. What is the UNC doing about it? What is the UNC doing about it? $1 million spent on ladder. $1 million spent on wooden ladder for the fire service. Well, What come out of it? What come out of it? Absolutely not one crap. But Saieed bashing. Saieed bringing reality to all you. So all I want to know what Colin Members going to do now, Clonging. But listen to this. The Ministry of Finance is beefing up the Treasury Division security with 24-hour service because there's a lot of criminal around. And the Treasury deals with cash. Colin Members now realize that. Now realize that. After all the years, how old Colin Members? About 75, 80? Members was questioned by opposition MP David Tanku, who queried the fact that the ministry had a $14 million figure for security in 2023. And while it was not all used, the same amount was allocated for 2024. So that's $28 million. I'll listen to this video.
14 million is the original figure for 23. Clearly, we did not spend that, but we have put back the same figure because we want our security up to full strength.
Can the Minister provide a listing of the security providers?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Primarily, our security is provided by MTS, but I will determine whether there's additional security for you.
I'll hear this, sir. There was also a $16.5 million ministry allocation for repairs in 2023, but only $3 million was spent. And the 16.5 figure was returned for 2024. Imbert said the original figure was for repairs to the vault and safe, computer equipment, and more. Listen to this.
Original allocation would for a number of items. It's for repairs to the vault and safes, and short pay maintenance, support, extra data storage, upgrade of computer equipment, upgrade of software and hardware, and also with respect to the whole question of payroll. You have to understand the Treasury Division processes all payments in the public service. So it needs a very sophisticated computer system. There would have been some issues with procurement. It would have been delayed, but this is very important expenditure. So we've put back the $16.5 million.
I want to hear how an uneducated man does talk. Listen to this. Degrading. It's degrading for Imbert to make statements like this, which I'm about to read to you. He noted that the ministry will now have 24-hour security because there are a lot of criminals around. And the Treasury deals with cash. And persons wouldn't want to miss taxpayers' cash. They wouldn't want taxpayers' cash to disappear. All I listen to this clown talk.
We are beefing up security at the Treasury for very good reason, and a contract was recently awarded a short while ago, and therefore we expect increased expenditure. We're now going to have 24-hour security because there are a lot of criminals around, and the Treasury deals with cash. Treasury is the one that has to process large quantities of cash received at the district revenue offices, which then have to be transported to the central bank. So there has been some, I mean, you would have read about it in the papers, there have been issues of people misappropriating cash, so we're beefing up security. I'm sure you would think that's a good expenditure. You wouldn't want taxpayers' cash to disappear.
I think it's much better than your colleagues. Thank you very much, Minister.
That is the most lame, degrading, uneducated, dumb, dotish, and stupid comments that Colin Imbert, Clong Imbert, have ever made in his life being a politician. $55 million of taxpayers' money was spent to repair a building that the AG refused to go in. But Colin Imbert talking about taxpayers' money disappearing, that is how the bloody hell money go in. That is how all the money go in. most uneducated statement Clongenwood ever made was all the taxpayers' money disappearing. How did all the taxpayers' money disappear? Let me tell you something. A bloody hell bandit ain't walking into the Treasury and announce a hold up and walk out with money on a bag in their back. Let me tell you something. You know how the money going? You see where $55 million spent is taxpayers' money. All they do something about it now. I sure know how the money spent. Now do something about it. So here's the reason why I said to you, that is the most dumb, dotish, stupid, uneducated, lame excuse Colin Imbert or Clang Imbert ever made in his political life. And who he fooling? Who he fooling? The citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. You know why? They're not better. They're not better. You watch a Minister of Finance tell you they're adding up more security because it's taxpayers' money, and we the citizens want to see taxpayers' money disappear. $55 bloody hell million spent, and all he do nothing. Call him about even do. Why the man ain't do tata? The man do no cow down, goat down, cattle down, however you call it. But talk about taxpayers' money being moved away from the bank. But let me tell you something, that way called white collar crime. It could never done. Call a good night.
Night.
Go right ahead.
I just called congratulate you on a good job that you are doing tonight.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Hey, let me tell you something, eh? It's only we doing it here, you know. It's only we at Real Talk, bringing the real issue to you, you know. Because nobody else is bringing it up and them are talking about it. Hence the reason why we on top. Real Talk on top, not Saieed, you know. Now I'm going to tell you something. It's because of you, the people. But we on top. You know why? We're dealing with a real issue that faces you on a day-to-day basis. You will tell me $55 million disappear? It had disappear. The money ain't disappear. The money was spent to furnish somebody's building. And then in return now, our loving DPP now said, you know what? I changed my mind. I ain't going. How much people benefited from $55 million? How much people? Call him Imbert. I'm asking you. How much people benefited from $55 million where bulletproof glass was put up? Who's going to buy that building? Or who is going into that special area to live in? Colin, you can answer that? You will tell the people here, you know, but I'm damn well sure you know. Call a good night.
Here again. As you raise that issue with respect to the, and you play the tape with the finance minister. Hello?
I'll listen, go right ahead.
Right. Now let me tell you something, Saeed. How could you tell me we have the state resources, which is the police and the army, who could protect the central bank, the treasury, and you're going to tell me you hire a private company?
Yes, correct.
And you have not stated who is the private company and how much you will be paying these people and things, Saeed? What ridiculous, what madness. But you're taking the same army men now to want to go and put them outside there to fight crime with the police and them. When the same army men could be used to
guard central bank.
To guard the central bank side. So therefore it shows you that these people, this government, they pay the financiers. Because as I tell you, the completion at Balize House has to take place. And by doing these kind of things, awarding contracts and all these kind of things, money is being returned to the PNM government. You understand? But this is madness because I don't think no part of the world, you want to tell me, like in America, just one a reference, that if they had to guard their treasury and they're going to hire a private company, Saeed? Because if fact remains, the private company could set up a robbery. They could set it up, Saeed.
We know this.
So, that's good.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. We understand this. The army said, why the hell you put them to guard central bank? All come now, man. It's only real talk, let's do it like this, you know. Me about saying, you know, but it's only real talk, let's do it like this. Hey, I want to hear a little bacchanal taking place in HDC. By Watchman man, when I tell you, 1 minute, we have 1 minute. There are complaints that a woman who is living at an HDC apartment in the Belmont area is telling her officials that nobody lives in the HDC apartment, so she or the HDC can pull back the apartment and give it to whoever they want. Let me tell you something. When I tell you birds is be whistling, it is only here toodly doodly 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 doo doo doo. What was that? So I want to see who now in HDC going to cover this. Because I know names, I know where they're living, and I know right now the apartment building of HDC under investigation. You know why? Because the tenants say, hey, but we paying, and HDC saying no, or your account closed. Watch now, man. It's only real talk like I tell you, Saieed, you know. Only real talk, you know. They say birds of a feather is flock together. But this is one feather, ain't getting caught up. This is one bird, ain't getting caught up with those flock. So viewers, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, your viewing Real Talk with Saieed Ali. A rerun of this program is tomorrow from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And by the grace of God, we'll be back here on the night for live programming. Until again,